Okay, now that we've got the trees in our terrain and we've got a dirt path for our players to follow, we're going to look at putting some grass in our level. Now we've already got um, the grass texture on the terrain itself to give it a grassy look, but if you get down and look at it, it really doesn't look that great as far as looking like grass. I mean, you kind of got the colors of grass, but there's not really any grass standing up. It's just very flat. So what we're going to do is we're going to fix that with what's called the detail editor, or the paint details. Um, this works in the same way as a tree painter. It just paints the details of the environment instead of the trees. The details can be anything from 3D meshes uh, to textures. And what we're going to put down is we're going to put down some grass textures. Now, add detail mesh is where you would go if you want to put a 3D model such as a rock or something like that in as a detail mesh and then paint it around the environment. Since we're just sticking with what's native to the Unity engine, we're just going to use a grass texture. And you see, this is where you assign it. It's telling you we still need to assign one. So we click on that. We'll go down and find a nice grass texture. Okay. I think we have two up here. We've got grass and then we've got grass 2. I think I'm going to go with just grass. Now here we've got some different variables. This all affects the wide. This affects how wide the texture sections are, because each is broken down into different sections. Um, you'll see what I mean when we start painting. You can affect the height, the width of the grass, the noise spread, the healthy and dry color, and mix the colors up so that it's not just all one color. So we're going to click add, and then we're going to come over here. I'm going to start painting. We're going to turn our brush size up a little bit. And if you remember, just like with the trees, opacity and target strength are the same things. So, oh, that's very, very thick. Let's see. Let's turn the opacity down. Still kind of thick. There we go. So let's just lay some grass down real quick. So, as you can see, this is our grass texture. Well, you may be thinking, well, how is a texture standing up like that? Well, there are cards that are placed in this environment every time we click the button. Every time we click the left mouse and lay down a grass texture, these 2D textures are placed on these cards that, in its most simplest form, and the simplest way to put it is the cards have their alphas on and they're invisible, so all you see is the textures. All you see is the grass. So if you look at it, you can tell it's really just a painting, a 2D representation of grass, but it's on a placeholder so that it holds it up. Now, this isn't an actual 3D model, so and if you notice, they turn whichever way you're looking. That's part of billboarding in the Unity engine. It keeps that mesh turns towards the camera at all times. So now you can obviously see it turning and things like that when you're that close to it. When you back up, it just looks like grass, you know. So it's a good way to get a good looking grass texture. That's not really, you know, modeling 3D blades of grass. It's just applying those to some placeholders and having them stand up in a 2D texture. So let's go ahead and we're going to paint our environment with this. What I really want to do is I'm not gonna, for the sake of the demo, we're gonna paint where I think the players are most likely to see the grass. Also, if you look at this, I'm not painting anything over here. I am, but I'm not. We just can't see it yet. See? And that goes back to the settings and the terrain that we had earlier. Let's go ahead and turn that up. In fact, well, that's dealing with the trees. I'm not sure if it's dealing with the grass or not. But either way, we just need to get in closer. And really, this is the best way to do it when you're painting your terrain. Is keep it centered to the mouse using F. Keep your terrain centered to the mouse using F. That'll keep you on track a little bit better. I think this grass is really going to look good. Ooh, I got it in my. Here we go. So, painting the grass on can be a bit time consuming, but obviously the rewards are worth it with the look of your level. We're not really going to bother painting down here in this little valley here, this little ridge, just because we don't really expect the player to go over there. I don't want the grass to get down in the dirt this time. I don't want to, I want to keep my dirt pretty grass free. I like to try to maybe thin it out a little by the dirt, so that way you get an idea of grass kind of growing up into the healthier areas and kind of being not so thick by the hard dirt. So for the time, for let's say for the demo's sake, I mean for the tutorial sake, I want to speed things up a little bit here and just do these sections closest to our player start, and we're going to move on to the next part of the tutorial. I just want to put some grass down here so you guys can see what it would look like in the game engine as we're playing the game. Oh, that's not good. You can also hold shift and erase, just like with the trees. So that should be pretty good. Let's put some back here behind the player. And I think that'll be good enough. Now let's see what it looks like here. And now you can see we've got our grass in our environment. It looks good. It's kind of tall grass, very healthy looking. If you look up here, you can see the bands of green and brown that kind of mix it up. Remember the settings in the box that we brought up before we loaded the texture. That's what, those colors that you pick there are going to determine the color that the engine puts on your textures. So yeah, that's the grass in our environment. And I'll come back in and finish painting the grass later. Right now, what I want us to do is just add some smaller touches to our level, and starting with our directional light. Now, let's find our directional light and let's zoom to it using F. Okay, there's the directional light and there's the sun. Now, what we kind of want to do is put the directional light in front of the sun. So that way, and then we're going to add a halo. So that way when the player looks up at the sun, it's going to create kind of a sense of really looking at the sun with a halo and everything. So we're going to move this up some more. We're going to move this up really high. Over like so. Down to our terrain. And it doesn't have to be perfectly positioned, but like I said, we won't want to put it in a spot. It looks like we're looking at the sun. And we're going to rotate it towards us. You can tell it's caused some more shadows to fall. But when we look up, we should, but apparently we're not. Still not centered. So let me go up here for a minute. I'll get it really up here. Now we're going to center the directional light. Like so. Alright, so now we've got a directional light in the middle of the sun. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add a halo. Now we do this kind of like we do the skyboxes. We're going to edit, render settings, and then we've got our list of awesome options here. And we're going to look for the halo texture. Right now we don't have a halo texture, so we're going to find one. And the Unity engine has some pretty cool halo textures in it. Now it could be, I think I'm going to need to load a package. Light flares, there we go. Let's import that package, and there's all the light flares. Import. I thought I had already done that. Okay, so we got our light flares. So now what we'll do is we'll just click and drag. We'll just click our light flares here. Let's see. We got the sun, the small flare, and the 50mm zoom. So in this case, we're going to go with the sun. So I'm going to go back to edit, render settings, and our 2D texture is going to be the sun. Oh, maybe we got to add it up here then, the hard way. Where's the sun flare? There's a star flare. 50mm flare, but I don't see the sun flare. Oh, the sun. It looks as though yes, the sun texture is actually the 50mm flare. So that's what was throwing me off. So let's go back to edit render settings. Okay, and the 50mm flare is pretty much the sun flare. So now when we play the game, and we're playing, and then we decide to look up at the sun, nothing. All right. So there's a box I apparently forgot to check, and let's see. It is in our directional light, if I'm not mistaken. Draw halo. There's the flare. That's where I put the flare. Duh. I know I was trying to add it in the other one. Bam. Now let's give it a shot. And there's our little halo. Now I feel like it's not directly on the sun like it needs to be. So let's take another look at this thing. And it's not. We're gonna, I don't know if there's a way to grab the actual flare. There's our directional light. I'm gonna rotate it down some more, right at, there it is. There it is. Okay. And now we're gonna play, and when we look up, ooh, nice bright sun, complete with lens flare. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. I think so. So yeah, there's just a couple of ways to add some more ambiance to your levels, make them more visually appealing. So as always, if you have found this video informative or entertaining in any way, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.